Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FTF server long-term Eightfold Abyss Azvaldt Shadowverse tournament. Today, or this time, we have Steelrocket on Portal Rune. I think we saw some of this in the short-term tournament, across the aisle, so to speak, against Goomba on Dragon and Shadow. So a nice mix of classes. It's kind of nice to see variety of class representation played, and I think as soon as our players are ready, we can be underway. Portal it's actually been a bit of a spike for a more like dedicated control portal deck, but I think Steel Rocket's on a puppet list here, and probably puppet spell boost. That's pretty like the most popular rune portal lineup going around for this kind of thing. Whereas Goomba, I believe, is probably like, I mean, Dragon honestly could be discarded. I think Goomba's been playing some armed and last words. So it was a pretty aggressive lineup from Goomba and a bit more mid-rangey one from Steel Rocket. Whenever we are good to go, we'll be underway. Let's see. So yeah, like alrighty. All right, that was and the loading screen is showing a card from a class that is not in this match at all. It's a Haven card. Also not in rotation. Alrighty. So, I'm gonna see. Goomba will roll the Coveted Go First card. Probably one of the most powerful cards in the game right now, and it is indeed Armed versus Puppet. So, let's see. Goomba's gonna go ahead and keep that Hammer Dragon new, tosses the Dragon Breeder and Levitating Dragon, but gets another Dragon Breeder back. That is a bit unfortunate for Goomba. Adpatha is like okay. This draw Forte, who's like the best card in this matchup. Puppet, pretty much can only really actually with Kerzale, Puppet and Metatron in Steel Rocket's hand, you can actually handle Forte. So let's see. Dragon Breeder now. I think it's a hard sell on this, but I think like Dragon Breeder on Hammer Dragon and just going face is probably the play here for Goomba. It is like and the problem here is just that like no matter what he does, Goomba's board is gonna get wiped by this Tinkering Shopkeeper, so his momentum is kind of up. But like he just has to kind of like push damage. He's definitely the aggressive deck. One thing that's pretty strong is if you can get a commit. And oh my goodness. Okay. The Chasm off the top is also a really strong draw. But yeah, like I think the importance of playing this Dragon Breed, right? Like so, like yes, his board is gonna get wiped. His Bad Cath is not gonna be targets, but I think if had Goomba taken a less active line, he just gets hit by this Chasm here, and he's already playing from behind. So definitely doesn't want that. And this turn, I think Goomba should just jam out the Babkatha for some card draw. I think he might be trying to make her arm, which is okay. You can definitely save the Draconic Weapon though. Like a lot of armless play Iron Scale, and like it's like a little better value if you find the Iron Scale. Okay, and speaking of which, this is a really nasty hand here from Goomba, so that's going to solve... That Kerzale is probably going to solve Forte or Defense Form. Okay, Lance Lizard now. So... Let's see. Lance Lizard immediately puts the Draconic Weapon in hand, so you can go Draconic Weapon, Dragon Breeder, most likely. And that is the 4 armed followers now coming out for Goomba, so Levitating Dragon will be able to evolve on his turn, assuming that his board gets wiped, which I don't see any reason for it not to be. This Metatron Evil will allow Goomba to wipe his board against her. Metatron into Chasm looks really strong, of course. That is going to be a full clear, probably tossing the... Okay, so you can toss the Wielder of the Cosmos, that makes sense. Card also honestly not a bad card to toss, but... 10 play point Wielder is a bit unwieldy. Ugh. Tripping off my words today. Okay, so yeah, Levitating Dragon is going to be the play here from Goomba. And I think that's gonna... Okay, that is gonna give him a clear... I wonder if he goes for... Okay. There's an idea there to go for Blast Form, but this is the best timing for Defense Form. Cursail is not available yet, so this is gonna be a turn where it is a bit difficult to answer. Okay, so... Whoa, this is a really fast play out here from... Interesting. I'm not sure I like that Craftsman's Pride, and now, without an Inauspicious Puppeteer, those puppets aren't going to do much work. I think the play there... Oh, but there's no puppets in hand there for, Right, so Orcus having not fused any puppets means there's no Lloyd. So there's no lock on the defense form? Yeah. Without a way to lock out defense form, it looks like... Oh, wait, playing a puppet instead of fusing it. Huh. Wait, we needed to get fusions into the Orcus somehow? And with 2 Orcas, you can definitely just fuse both of those puppets this turn. But yeah, the best way to handle that defense form would have been to lock it down. But it is a little bit spooky to be in this spot here for Steelrocket. But is he going to get the grab the heal? Grabbing the heal makes sense. Puppet definitely plays the control role in this matchup. And Steelrocket is kind of just hoping he doesn't get lethal down. But this is a Levitating Dragon that has not been converted to Blast Form, so he's got to be feeling pretty good. If he doesn't get lethal out here, or hit by too many things, he's got the Cursail next turn. So definitely Goomba still has his work cut out for him. And Goomba's going to lead off with the Bat Katha. That is interesting. I don't know if I like that necessarily. I mean, it makes the Levitating Dragon larger on board, which is nice. But I think there was a way to put 4 followers on the board, right? Like, if you are in this position, I think you need to be cognizant of Orcus and of Cursail. And so making a board that's 4 wide makes you a little less likely to have your Levitating Dragon destroyed by the Warden of the Triggers from Cursail. And that's going to be important because I think if this Cursail wipes out the defense form here, then... Yeah. Steelrocket shows no hesitation playing the Cursail, and there's the Snipe. And yeah, so that's going to be a huge problem for Goomba to deal with. So my suggestion last turn would have been like Lance Lizard, Adherent, and Freya. Freya helps draw for another Levitating Dragon, which he knows he's going to need, and that's going to be 4 followers on board. It might push less damage, but defense form is kind of like an immediate threat on its own. But the game's not over yet, so we're going to see it evolve on the Kasim, which will give 1 more healing because these 2 Warden of the Triggers will each draw a card, which will trigger Rose's card draw. Rose's healing, my bad, on the card draw. Yeah, and so that is going to be a huge swing here this turn. Alright, Freya coming down looking for another Levitating Dragon, and I think Goomba's going to have to play Attack Form here. I think he's likely calculating whether or not he can use Blast Form, but Attack Form is probably the only thing that gets him through this turn, which is really unfortunate because Attack Form is pretty weak in terms of like game presence. Yeah, he just concedes, but Attack Form might have been worth trying for. It is unfortunate because that's his last Levitating Dragon, but I think is he dead to Orcas? I don't think he's immediately dead to anything. Definitely not a good spot to be in. But yeah, like, just to slow start and against a pretty much a nearly perfect curve out there from Steelrocket. Steelrocket did miss the 6 play point Orcus turn Orcus. But I mean, you don't have much of a better hand. The defense form not doing quite enough to steal the game. Alrighty, we're going to see Armed again here from Goomba. He rolls that Go First card again. Very, very powerful against Spell Boost. So definitely Goomba hoping to get this deck through. And did get pointed out that these players are both using Idolmaster sleeves. Very, very good. Okay, so let's see. Freya now from Goomba is going to draw a Swiftblade Dragonute, so that is going to be 2 Arm Followers in hand, which means that, oh, but no. Yeah, that's kind of stinky. No turn 3 Iron Scale is awkward, but Goomba does have the turn 4 Iron Scale, so that's okay. And a slow hand, kind of slow hand out here from, well, I say kind of slow because it looks as a hand, but with the addition of, with those 2 Angel's Blessings, this hand from Steelrocket is going to speed up really drastically. And okay, so let's see. I want to see the 3/3 traded in. Yeah, so that's a better stat distribution. Oh, he plays the Hammer Dragonute. Is that the right line there? Let's think. It's all right. I think I would have saved the Hammer Dragonute, just to get face damage with it, because let's see, Goomba's at 2 Arm Followers in play right now with the Swiftblade Dragonute. Well, that it's okay. I mean, like, that cashes in for damage later too. But the Evo points are kind of hard to turn into damage with, I think, for this deck. So yeah, I mean, it's probably fine. Because I mean, yeah, but like, this is the power of those 2 Angel's Blessings, right? Like, because Goomba missed 1 turn on that Iron Scale Serpent Drake, all the damage he did. Well, I mean, he didn't do that much face damage, but the any board presence has just been wiped clean by this turn from Steelrocket. That's why I despise Spell Boost, anti-Spell Boost propaganda here. Okay, so let's see. Forte in this matchup, I believe she can be cleared by all these effect damage cards, and her attacks can be prevented. So she's not really strong. So I believe Goomba should be looking for some Levitane Dragons. Let's see. Ooh, this ordering is a little awkward because he's not gonna be able to draw another card off of the Twin Drake. He's gonna want to save that Hammer Dragonute for sure. And using the Evo now that Steelrocket has shown 2 Angel's Blessings, not very likely to be punished by a third one. But you know, it's always like this situation on a ladder when I'm in it. Like, they always have the 3rd Angel's Blessing, and you just feel it's just so awful having to deal with that. Alrighty, so Magic Missile on the 1/1. Okay, interesting that I'm going to choose to target the Twin Drake. Guide. Targeting that with the Chakram instead. Most likely going to use the Enchanting spell here on the Hammer Dragonute, I think. That's going to make it harder for Goomba to use Blast Form. Yeah. Okay, and then Story of a Lifetime draws like a bajillion cards. I wonder if he risks the overdraw here, though, because a Crushing Rain is, yeah, it's better to risk the overdraw, right? Because denying the 4th Armed Follower is definitely very important here. Uh, so I think maybe Metatron. Okay, let's see here for Goomba. Metatron, Draconic Weapon, out the Iron Scale, trade the 3/3 in, and then Hammer Dragon Unit is a line. The other line is Draconic Weapon Forte, but I think that one's just losing. I mean, Forte is good in a lot of matchups, but she's really awkward in this one. And you can't, given that Goomba can't even give Forte her can't be attacked ability. Yeah, I mean, like Maltina will answer Forte really easily. Oh, but Goomba's committing to the Forte, deeming the other line a little too slow. I'm gonna play point refund here, so I think he play point refund and the whatchamacallit, the destroy effect is gonna let him push the most damage. And of course this will get him to 4 armed followers for sure. Okay, so this does present a lot of pressure. And wait, okay, so this line is honestly the upside to this line is if he gets the 4th arm follower leaving play with Forte and Hammer Dragonute and no healing from Steelrocket, this is going to be lethal. So yeah, since he has Forte plus his another arm hammer in hand, Steelrocket is going to go ahead and banish the hammer. But that is still 4 arm followers leaving play. And that Metatron has not been answered yet. Yeah. So, actually, that Forte line is going to win the game. Because this is 3 damage plus a Forte. So that, yeah, I was saying Forte isn't particularly strong in this matchup, but actually, I mean, just getting the damage in when Steelrocket is out of healing, does not have a ward up, just manages to clinch it in. That's really good. So Goomba with another not ideal start, an Armed Dragon manages to cross the finish line, taking advantage of the fact that Spell Boost does have to do a bit of work to survive against an aggro deck, and just closing the game before Steelrocket can get set up. Even with the two Angel's Blessings managed to close out the game. Alrighty, and so we're gonna go to game 3. Last words against Spell Boost. This matchup, with those enchanting spells, I think Last Words can have a bit of a harder time. Goomba's really going to want to find those pop cards to make his board progress. Okay. Turn 1, Mino versus turn 1, Sacred Bird. Both very strong opening plays from our players here. Fallen Sergeant on turn 2. Very nice. If this, I don't know if Steelrocket is playing Uranus, but if he is not, then this Fallen Sergeant will be very good at drawing through the rest of, very likely to be good at drawing through the rest of Goomba's deck. There should be about 5. There's going to be 2 Sergeants, 3 Colonels, and possibly 1 Lieutenant left in his deck. So it's like a 50-50 for Fallen Sergeant to draw another Fallen Sergeant, which is very strong. Okay, so probably Deathcat Reaper and Thunder God here. I think you usually want to save with this hand. I think Goomba needs to save Estindet for an Evo, and then save another copy of Estindet to pop. This actually saw a match on Rage last night where the guy had to burn through 2 Estindets early. Because his hand was kind of crappy, and he just couldn't play the game. He had Colonel stuck in his hand later on. I mean, it's not like he had a better choice, but yeah, it's just awkward when that happens, right? And the Corral Souls off the top, that's going to be really nice for Goomba, and allow him to pop this Fallen Sergeant, get that delayed draw. Kind of awkward to draw Hugin and Immune in here, but another Deathcat Reaper is definitely not something that he's going to say no to. That's a lot of pressure. These Deathcat Reapers will add another 2 damage when they die. And once again, it doesn't seem like there's a Uranus here for Steelrocket, so what does he do here? Probably spell boost a Sea-Mile. Yeah, and then draw with the Sacred Bird, and then Chakram Wizard will be able to clear. But still not a good spot. He's out of card draw in this hand. He looks like he's just going to have to go for a push with Sea-Mile next turn. Yeah. I mean, he can go Sea-Mile Raining Blades next turn, but not. I don't think that's exactly ideal. Maybe the Orchestral Mage is active soon. We're like 20 cards from. Like a. Is it draw 15 or 20? I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but definitely if he can get a Raining Blades onto Orchestral Mage, Steelrocket will be in a better spot. Alright, so Hugin Munin active, which means Cerberus is also active. Cerberus pitching an Istindet here is likely a good play. That is one last word short of. Okay, no, don't do that yet. So I think. Oh no, it's probably from the dust to get another Fallen Sergeant and then Thunder God, because I believe Steelrocket should be at 7 last words now, and he wants to push to 10 as quickly as he can. But from the dust isn't guaranteed to pull out a Fallen Sergeant because of all those Deathcat Reapers. That is unfortunate. In fact, it's more likely to get a Deathcat Reaper out, but that's also pushing damage, so maybe it's not that bad. Another idea here is to immediately play the Abyssal Colonel now. No, he has to cash in this Thunder God. Oh, he's going to choose to play an Istindet, which is 2 last words, so I think that should put him to 9. With the Cerberus in hand, then if this Istindet dies, it's going to be 9. With the Cerberus in hand, he should be able to get to 10, and then play Colonel Istindet. So that is a lethal setup here. Because even if Cerberus doesn't have Storm... Oh, but this Meltina is going to be able to deny this a bit. And set up the Orchestral Mage. Work toward that Orchestral Mage in his hand. The Enchanting spell is also nice, but I think that's just going to be played to dump a spell from hand. And Meltina Evo now banishes Istindet. Definitely going to slow down this progress towards 10 last words here. Yeah. Kind of punish or not? I think this is kind of a punish. Okay, but Krampus off the top is going to be really nice. Let's see. What do you do here? Yeah, but I think this Krampus... But, like, not hitting 9 the last turn is... Yeah. Not hitting 9 means this Krampus doesn't get him to 10. So, what do you do here? I think maybe it's Colonel into... Let's see, Colonel, Deathcat Reaper, Thunder God. Okay. Instead, we're gonna see, I think, Deathcat Reaper tossed by Cerberus, and a bunch of Rush followers come out. Krampus the 2-1 to draw. Azvaldt in hand now, but it is a bit slow. So now maybe Colonel and Thunder God, I think. I think definitely Thunder God this turn. Colonel can wait. So, instead Azvaldt. Azvaldt hoping to draw another Colonel, maybe. Thunder God. Yeah, Thunder God for sure this turn. I think the aggressive line was probably made sense last turn. And, okay, Orchestral Mage is now glowing, which means it's comeback time. Cue the sax music. Meltina does not have full spell boost yet, but still can spell boost the rest of his hand. Or not at 5 spell boosts, rather. Yeah, so, oh my goodness, let's see, this is going to be 3 plus 9. Yeah, wait a minute, I think this is just a lethal here. Yeah, it looks like Exodia has been assembled here. Found the one critical turn that he needed to stall. 9 plus 4 plus 4. This is just that Meltina giving Steelrocket the spell boost he needed, involving the Orchestral Mage for more healing and overkill, and undoing all the pressure that Goomba applied. And yeah, that is the power of spell boost once again. And Steelrocket manages to get that win with that timely banish on Stindet and into just showing the full power of that hand. Goomba lamenting his deck choice a little bit in the chat. I kind of agree. Shadow is definitely probably one of the weaker decks. Well, it's a very powerful deck, but some of the builds of Shadow can be taken advantage of in this metagame. And Spell Boost is just a deck that is really good at like disrupting 1 or 2 key plays to keep it from popping off. And so that is going to be 2-1 for Steelrocket, taking a win. Really just like barely surviving this against an aggro lineup. Goomba I think went first all 3 games if I remember correctly. But so well played from both of our players. Steelrocket kind of showing how you can weather the storm, so to speak. And yeah, congrats to him for taking the win, and hope to see everyone again next time.